want to do that. I mean, that's why I'm here.
And that's why most of the engineers we met are here, building spaceship. Time.
If you reach the point of having a successful manned flight, what will you have proven?
We're not doing it to prove it. We know it can be done. We're just trying to do it a little bit differently, a little bit faster, and to push the fence a little bit farther out.
And then we can all go. I mean, I want to go into space. I assume most people here do as well.
How many want to ride?
Damn, already one person.
Okay. Everybody wants to go.
I wasn't sure.
First stage engine sequence initiated.
3, 2, 1.
4 years after starting, SpaceX rolled out its first rocket, an unmanned booster called the Falcon 1.
Back on a third the tower.
But the first 3 test flights failed to reach
Yeah, I
orbit.
couldn't fix it.
We are hearing from the Launch Control Center that there has been an anomaly on the vehicle.
When you had that third failure in a row, did you think, I need to pack this in?
No,
Why not?
I don't ever give up. I mean, I'd have to be dead or completely incapacitated.
It turned out that the third failure was caused by a 2-second glitch in the timing. 8 weeks later, Musk bet the company on another flight.
We have liftoff.
And this time around, everything worked.
Perfect.
If that fourth launch hadn't worked, that would have been it.
I'll be there.
We would have not had the resources to mount a fifth.
You couldn't have gone out at that point.
Yes, death would have been, I think, inevitable because we did not have the resources to mount a fifth launch.
This is a tricky business.
Tricky. Yeah, yeah. I wish it wasn't so
I
hard.
hope it doesn't glitch.
The story will continue
You gotta
after
stand up for
this.
this.
Good, mommy?
Yeah,
I like
man.
this game. I like this board, The more and more we play, I
In 2010, SpaceX tested a larger, more powerful nine-engine rocket called the Falcon 9 and an unmanned cargo capsule known as Dragon. It was the first privately developed rocket designed to carry cargo and eventually astronauts to the space station.
M-bank ignition confirmed.
3.2 kilometers per second.
In its first test flight, the Dragon capsule performed flawlessly, orbiting the Earth twice before splashdown in the Pacific, the first time a private company had launched and recovered its own spacecraft.
And this is a historic spacecraft.
It is, yeah.
We came across the Dragon capsule while Musk was showing us around.
You know what I noticed about your cargo ship is that it has windows.
Yeah, absolutely. The windows are there in case there's an astronaut on board who wants to look up.
But people don't put windows in cargo ships.
That's right, exactly.
So what that tells me is that this was never intended to be only a cargo ship.
No, the Dragon was always designed to carry astronauts.
Musk says a manned version of the Dragon capsule will be safer than the space shuttle and a lot cheaper. Engineers are already designing escape rockets, life support equipment, and computer guidance systems. They were studying seating for 7 when we were there.
Do you believe that your rocket will be the next American rocket to take an astronaut into space?
I believe that is the most likely outcome.
Facts.
That sort of confidence has not exactly endeared him to the space establishment or to his competitors.
There are people who've been in the rocketry business for decades who say about you that you don't know what you don't know.
Well, I suppose that's true of anyone. How can anyone know what they don't know?
But when critics say you can't do this, your answer to them is,
We've done it.
So I feel
He's
behind
done
when I
it
don't
in
stretch my
partnership
legs.
with NASA, which has given SpaceX technical advice and a contract worth up to
And they glitch it and it makes
$1.6
it look
billion,
like ghetto, like
mostly
cheap.
for 12 cargo flights to the space station. But
Like the
SpaceX's
Pixel
lack of experience bothers some NASA legends like Apollo astronauts Neil Armstrong and Gene Cernan. They've testified to Congress that the Obama administration's drive to commercialize space could compromise safety and eventually cost the taxpayers.
Now is the time to overrule this administration's pledge to mediocrity.
you know, there are American heroes who don't like this idea. Neil Armstrong, Gene Cernan have both testified against commercial spaceflight in the way that you're developing it. And I wonder what you think of that.
Looks like I'm standing.
I was very sad to see that,
Yeah.
because
You're
those
not?
guys are, those guys are heroes of mine, so it's really tough. I wish they would come and visit and see the hardware that we're doing here. And I think that would change their mind.
They inspired you to do this, didn't they?
Yes.
And to see them casting stones in your direction.
It's difficult.
Did you expect them to cheer you on?
Oh shit, where'd you come from, bitch?
So I'm hoping they would.
Yeah, take this gun.
I got a
Trying to
gun.
prove to them.
What I'm trying to do is to make a significant difference in spaceflight and help make spaceflight accessible to almost anyone. And I would hope for as much support in that direction as we can receive.
President Obama made his support clear when he visited SpaceX's launch site just before Falcon 9's first test flight. As this animation shows, Elon Musk's next flight will be far more ambitious, carrying cargo all the way to the space station. It was scheduled to fly in February, but it's taken longer than expected to perfect the flight software. The flight will be a complicated rendezvous with a space station that is moving 17,000 miles an hour, 240 miles above the Earth.
Okay, so it looks like our burn performance is nominal.
In the SpaceX mission control, flight simulations are continuing. And if all goes well, SpaceX will begin routine space station cargo deliveries later this year. But the big prize is winning the NASA contract to build America's next manned spacecraft. And Elon Musk is facing stiff competition.
Round
Probably not
six.
the guy that most people would bet on.
Who wins?
It's like a little kid fighting a bunch of sumo wrestlers. Usually the sumo wrestlers win. We're a little scrappy company. Every now and again, a little scrappy company wins. And I think this will be one of those times.
Yeah.
60 Minutes, rewind. Comparing the Tesla Model S to other cars is like comparing an iPhone to a desk phone. It is a technological marvel that scorches the pavement, 0 to 60 in 4 seconds. Tesla is another revolutionary idea from the mind of Elon Musk, a 42-year-old Silicon Valley entrepreneur who built an industrial empire from the stuff of little boy dreams, fast cars, and rocket ships. Musk is an idealist who told us he had to start his companies so that man could colonize Mars and save the Earth. His sister says it's like her brother traveled into the future and came back to tell us all about it. So, what is the future like? Apparently, it's fast and smoke-free. The Tesla Model S is powered by 7,000 battery cells linked to an electric motor. No engine, no transmission, no tailpipe. As this company video shows, the dash is dominated by a computer that's constantly connected to the internet. It has a fanatical following. There's a waiting list that Elon Musk is trying to shorten, building 600 Model S's a week in this high-tech plant in Northern California.
I have heard a lot of people describe you.
Okay, good. I mean, hopefully, on balance, hopefully mostly good.
How do you describe yourself?
I usually describe myself as an engineer. That's basically what I've been doing since I
Next
was a
game we gotta
kid.
get is
I'm
that other
interested in
zombie
things
game.
that change the world or
They
for
could
that
cut the
make
heads
the
with a
future
knife.
and wondrous new technology where you see it and you're like, wow, how's that even happen? How's that possible?
How is it possible
Big
that
zombies.
Elon Musk could launch 2 impossible businesses, SpaceX, a builder of rocket ships, and Tesla, which could be the first successful car company startup in America in 90 years?
How did you figure you were going to start a car company and be successful at it?
Well, I didn't really think Tesla would be successful. I thought we would most likely fail. But I thought that we at least could address the false perception that people had that an electric car had to be ugly and slow and boring like a golf cart.
But you say you didn't expect the company to be successful, then why try?
If something's important enough, you should try, even if the probable outcome is failure.
Because I said I had it.
What's important to Musk is reducing greenhouse gases, which he believes threaten the world. The Tesla will go about 250 miles on a charge, and Musk is building a network of charging stations where the driver pays nothing for a fill-up. He hopes to make the stations
I can't do that.
largely
My dog's
solar-powered one day.
You can drive for free forever on pure sunlight. That's the
Oh, you can look
message
inside
they're
the
trying to
gun.
convey. So even if like there's a
Oh,
zombie
shit, that's
apocalypse
hot.
and the grid breaks down, you'll still be able to charge your car.
So there's a zombie apocalypse warranty.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, shit.
And if you're running from zombies, it's good to
Your
know
name.
the Model S won the highest quality rating in the history of Consumer Reports and has the government's highest safety rating.
Yes.
Musk may be changing
It's
the
around
car
zombies
the way
right there in my
Steve
face.
Jobs changed the phone. Like Jobs, he's a perfectionist in the art
I'm
of
not Joel,
engineering.
so of course
His
I'm
goal
gonna out.
wasn't
I'm
to
not
show
on
a
point right
profit,
now.
but to reveal
I'm
the
Joel, but I'm more on
possibilities. It is a desire to discover that's also behind Musk's other line of vehicles. Only 4 entities have launched a space capsule into orbit and successfully brought it back: the United States, Russia, China, and Elon Musk. This Buck Rogers dream started years ago when he had a nutty idea to fly an experimental greenhouse to Mars, but he couldn't. He discovered that the price of rockets was astronomical, so now he builds his own.
I had so many people try to talk me out of starting a rocket company. It was crazy.
What did they tell you?
One good friend of mine collected a whole series of videos of rockets blowing up and made me watch those. He just didn't want me to lose all my money.
He never did launch that greenhouse, but now Musk is lofting commercial satellites and flying cargo to the space station for NASA at a fraction of the former cost. Musk's fascination with technology dates to his childhood in South Africa.
He was just found everything interesting. He wanted to explore everything, knocked his teeth out because he was just falling off stuff. Kimball too, actually.
We spoke with his mother, May, sister Tosca, and brother, Kimball.
He's a guy with unlimited ambition.
Ambition to do what?
Not a typical type of ambition. It's more like he just needs to be constantly, his mind just needs to be constantly fulfilled. And the problems that he takes on, therefore, need to become more and more complex over time in order to keep him interested.
He was interested in computers early. At the age of 12, he wrote the software for a video game and sold it.
No, I'm good.
Against
Got the
his
back.
parents' wishes, he set his sights on the software capital of the world.
It seems like the vast majority of such things came from the United States. I also read a lot of comic books, and they all seem to be set in the United States. So it's like, well, this is a good place. This is where I got to go to this place.
He earned degrees in business and physics at the University of Pennsylvania and asked his brother to join him in California.
When we moved to Silicon Valley, we had nothing. So we actually lived in the office, and we would sleep on the floor in the evening and go shower at the YMCA the next morning. And then we would be ready to go before some of our employees would arrive, so they wouldn't think we were actually sleeping in the office.
In that office, Musk invented a program that gave step-by-step directions between addresses. That's common today in cars and phones, but in 1995, it was magic.
Said I did
In
my
4
workout
years,
for the day. I didn't
he
even do it
made
already.
$22 million.
Only in America.
Right, only in America. I agree, absolutely.
Next, he started an online banking firm that he grew into PayPal, a system for making purchases on the internet.
And you sold PayPal to eBay for what?
It was about $1.5 billion. So that was it was a good outcome.
A good outcome?
Yep, right here.
Yes.
His share was $180 million, and he bet it all on Tesla and SpaceX. But at the age of 37, he hit rock bottom. His first rockets failed to reach orbit, and an early model Tesla Roadster had quality problems.
In 2008, the rocket company is not going well. You
Oh,
had 3
happened?
failures.
What?
Great. The car
Check 'em
company
off.
is hemorrhaging
Come
money.
on, yo.
And the American economy has tanked in the worst recession
Yeah, but my
since the
gun,
Great
I lost my
Depression.
gun.
Right.
What's your bet?
What was that year like for you?
And I'm getting divorced, by the way. To add to that. That was definitely the worst year of my life.
That terrible year was captured in a documentary called Revenge of the Electric Car. His plant was filled with flawed cars that couldn't be delivered.
Holy mackerel. Jesus. We have like an army of cars here. Jesus. I'm looking like we're gonna be able to deliver 4 cars to the sales team. This is frightening.
It's really
pedal to the metal here. Like, I mean, each month that passes is literally costs us tens of millions of dollars. I mean, we need to appreciate that.
To save Tesla, Musk needed millions more from investors. His fortune was gone.
When we call people and say, hey, would you like to invest? They'd be angry that we just called. It's like, no, it's not like no, and various expletives.
He was essentially broke.
Oh yeah, in debt, more than broke.
More than broke.
Yeah.
I remember waking up the Sunday before Christmas in 2008 and thinking to myself, and I never thought I was someone who could ever be careful and never break down. But I thought this was the closest I've ever come.
with that? I dodged it. They were like nothing.
Because it seemed pretty dark.
Mayweather. That's how I'm
The
dodging.
story will continue after this.
That's what I'm nasty at.
You is
Fuck you,
nasty,
pussies.
Daddy. I wish we could hit them zombies with the gun.
Toward the end of 2008, SpaceX prepared its fourth attempt.
We were running on fumes at that point. We had virtually no money. So a fourth failure would have been absolutely game over. Done.
SpaceX bankrupt.
Yeah, it's bad enough to have 3 strikes. Having 4 strikes is really
Thank
good.
But
My
Flight
birthday
4
today, shit.
was flawless. In Musk's world, it lit the darkness. Then, as often, the week of Christmas became a time when little boy dreams are answered.
NASA called and told us that we'd won a $1.5 billion contract. And I couldn't even hold the phone. It's like, I just blurted out, I love you guys.
They saved you
Yeah, they did.
financially and maybe even emotionally.
I'll tell you what, that was definitely helpful. Yeah.
2 days later, on Christmas Eve, Tesla's investors decided to pour in more money.
So you were saved in the period of 3 days
Yeah.
by 2 completely
No, he's down here
unexpected
now, right
events.
here.
Yeah.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's down here in
That's for
circle.
sure.
Can't even get him.
A liftoff of the Falcon 9.
The rockets haven't failed since. His cargo capsule has
No,
docked
he's still
3
moving around.
times with the space station,
Capture is confirmed.
and in the
I got him.
California
I got him,
plant, they're
nigga.
fitting
Woo!
seats for what they hope will be eventual manned missions. SpaceX is also testing a rocket that can be reused, softly landing on a column of flame. Another step
It is
on a
hot, you know.
longer journey.
I'd love to have SpaceX be the company that brings humanity to Mars.
Hope not.
And I hope I see it while I'm still alive.
He's at SpaceX 3 days a week, 2 days at Tesla, and weekends are at home with his 5 sons from his first marriage and his second wife, Tallulah, whom he met in London.
It all happened very fast. We were engaged after I think sort of two weeks of knowing each other, and I was 22, and there were all these boys, and it was which was the best part, and it was fast, and then we were in it.
You knew each other 2 weeks
Something like
before
that.
you got engaged.
Something like that.
What was so attractive?
Oh, he's very charming and definitely the most interesting and eccentric person I have ever met.
I am so
Tesla's
nasty.
stock
with it.
has
Put my gun
rocketed
down
up
like
nearly
this, as I'm fighting,
500%,
grab the
but
axe, hit him with it.
that's not based
Grab
on
my
the
gun
cars
back.
he's selling today. That price is counting on the hope that Tesla will create an electric car at 1/3 the cost of the Model S, which runs about $100,000. This is what stands in the way. This slab, covered in plastic, is the battery.
So this is essentially the bottom of the car. The front wheels would be there, the rear wheels would be right here. It fills up the entire bottom of the car.
Hurry up.
That's right.
This is how it fits into the bottom of the chassis. Trouble is, the battery's so expensive, Musk can't build a $35,000 car with acceptable range. To make Tesla
Oh,
successful,
thank you,
he
Daddy.
must
Damn.
reinvent battery manufacturing. Musk has just announced a $5 billion factory to be built in the U.S., which he says will make more lithium-ion batteries than all the other plants on Earth combined. Gambles like that have led a lot of people on Wall Street to bet against him, taking investment positions that count on Tesla stock to fail. But so far, those pessimistic investors have lost a lot of money.
What is it about you that seems to invite skepticism?
Well, I think it's because we're doing these things that seem unlikely to succeed. And we've been fortunate, and at least thus far they have succeeded.
Woo! My fucking hand is quick. I'm telling you, I'm a dangerous one, motherfucker.
Oh shit. Got him, thank
Nobody
you.
builds 5G like Verizon builds 5G. We go further.
Jody, I was about to throw this gun out and it reloaded.
The more reliability matters, the more your network
Because
matters.
it said it was red, like it no ammo.
Pay attention, mommy. You need that gun. Spitter time.
Elon Musk is the most famous Tesla CEO.
Everyone.
But Martin Eberhard and Mark Tarpenning were the original founding executives. CNBC sat down with them to talk about the earliest days at Tesla.
Hitting that nigga with headshots.
There are a lot of people who don't realize that you started the company. How do you respond to people who
I got mad spitters
don't
coming
realize the creator of that?
Elon was, investor in Series A. He was very supportive always, financially and out on the board. And then he became the CEO. He's actually the fourth CEO of Tesla, and he has taken it.
Second chairman of the board.
Second chairman of the board,
Oh,
and he's
shit.
taken it, to heights that are, fantastic. So he's done an amazing
I'll try to
job.
help you with my left
But-
hand.
Yeah, and he was always
Before.
supportive, from the beginning, but he wasn't.
Blasting
founder
it
in
is like
the
nothing.
sense of he wasn't, we started it.
Well, I mean, this is one of the things that I found kind of fascinating about him is that he's actually accomplished some amazing things in his own right. I mean,
He's totally amazing.
yeah, SpaceX is amazing, and he's done some interesting things with Tesla for sure. I'm not sure why he has to also say that he was a founder when he wasn't. I don't understand that.
No, yeah, whatever.
You good?
Yeah. You good?
Hell yeah. Good as it could be.
Eberhard and Tarpenning met in the 1980s, and in 1997 they founded Nuvo Media, where they created the first ever ebook reader called the Rocket eBook. The idea for Tesla came from Martin's love of sports cars.
For various reasons, I had been thinking about buying a sports car. And this is at a time when...
One of many sports cars that we had.
Well, I was thinking about buying a more serious one.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, I had just gotten divorced. That's what you do when you get divorced.
You shot one off, yo. It's all good.
So in the end, I'm looking at these cars. They look like a lot of fun, but got 18 miles to the gallon or something. And this is at a time when it seems very obvious to me the wars that you're having in the
Yeah,
Middle
baby,
East
got mad niggas on
had
it.
something to do with
In
oil,
the middle.
and it seems also
Shit, I helped you out, Ruben.
becoming more and more obvious that this global warming thing was real. And in the end, I couldn't buy a car like that. That was just at the time when the car companies who had been selling electric cars in California had managed to get the zero emissions vehicle mandate gutted just at the time when I thought I might go buy an electric car, maybe an EV1 or something. They're no longer available. They're actually being taken off the market. And in fact, if it was an EV1 or any of the other leased
They don't want
EVs,
it.
they're actually taken back from the owners and destroyed. I had talked about this with Mark, and Mark was
Piece of cake.
We want to eat
reasonably
fire with
skeptical.
these guns.
And asked me a lot of questions about well, I mean,
Big guys.
what is the right technology if it's not going to be a gasoline-powered car? Well, so I wound up doing the math. I wound up calculating the well-to-wheel energy efficiency of every
Rocket.
kind of transportation I could think of. Of course, fuel cells, gasoline, diesel, biofuels, electric cars. Electric cars where the electricity is made from coal, where it's made from
Spitters and
natural
shit.
gas, where it's made from oil.
Rockets shooting at
And it
you.
was a surprise to both of us that every which way I did the numbers, the electric cars were
Oh
a
my
lot
God.
better than everything else.
Though Eberhard and
Woo,
Tarpenning
look
had
at
worked
these
together in
Woo,
hardware and
look, you see me
consumer
dodging these
electronics,
rockets? There's 5 of
neither
them
of
coming
them
at me.
had any automotive experience.
Before I had thought
dodge that
about
one.
starting
Oh,
a car company,
dodge that one, though.
post that, I had
Oh, I
searched
dropped
the
the soda.
internet that might make a car still.
You
Not all
did?
the big guys are out. And there was a
Yeah, mommy.
small
Fucking
company in
crazy
Southern
there.
California called AC Propulsion.
Me
It
too
had
right
made
now.
exactly 3 of a little kind of a handmade kind of a sports car-y thing. It was very homemade.
I am going
But
crazy.
go-karting, right? And so I contacted this company and
Who's shooting at me?
spoke to them, and they were
Stand behind
actually
you.
doing out of business because the majority of their income had come from
Stand behind you.
doing
Don't worry
small
about it.
projects for the car
Yeah.
companies
Another one down
as they
here.
were
down
trying
the
to
bridge.
make electric car demonstrations. But
But now that the electric car, the zero emission vehicle mandate had been gutted, all that business went away. So they were going out of business. So I reached out and actually rescued invested some of my own money in the company and tried to get them to build me a personal car. That car was a lead acid powered car and was therefore very short range, and the batteries were persnickety and dangerous. And so in my conversations with them, I said, well, why don't we consider lithium-ion batteries? We had learned a lot about lithium-ion batteries from our work on the electronic books. Our first generation of that product used nickel metal hydride batteries, and then we learned and switched over to lithium-ion batteries for the second generation. So I had proposed was this possible, and it turns out that some of the folks there had been thinking about that too. So I basically financed them to convert their car to a kind of a crude lithium-ion battery pack for that thing. That's where it began. And that was a proof of concept that actually would work despite the limitations of that car.
One of the things in terms of how we found investors and how we kind of figured out how to make the car at the beginning was an electric car is a bunch of computers, it's batteries, it's motors, and then there's the sort of car around it.